You must be the history professor from London. And you have an appointment with, let's see. Ah, yes, Louis the 16th and Marie Antoinette. Is that correct? Perfect. Welcome to la Bibliothèque Nationale de Magie, the National Library of Magic. My name is Emma, and I will be guiding you towards your appointment today. It's a pleasure to meet you. Before we head into the library, would you mind signing the register, please? Thank you. Here's a pen. Perfect. Now, follow me, please. Is it your first time here, Professor? Oh, really? Well, I hope you will live with great memories and will want to come back again soon. The French Library of Magic is one of the biggest of its kind in the world. It is enclosed, as you already know, in the National Library in Paris. Only people with supernatural abilities, wizards and witches, are allowed here, such as yourself. Now, two very important rules, Professor. Never ever lose sight of me while inside the library. Always stay close. No matter what you see, hear, or smell, always stay by my side. And try to be as quiet as possible. We wouldn't want to disturb and upset the place. All right? Good. Now let's go. We are starting nice and easy with the essays section. Here are stored all the essays written by major authors, philosophers, politicians, human and supernatural alike. It is probably the quietest of all the sections in the library. Ideas can materialize from time to time, but it is quite rare. Other people, well, the library is gigantic. You find it out soon enough. So it is uncommon to encounter other visitors like you. They are scattered all around, depending on what they're looking for. Why keep quiet then? You mean, if there's no one here, why bother whispering? Professor, do you really believe that we should stay quiet in a library for the people who come here to read, study, or work? Of course not. Who cares about people? We keep silent for what really matters and is of true importance here, which are books indeed. Books are very sensitive entities. Never speak of them as objects or they'll get really upset. They need to be kept in optimal conditions, in rooms not too dry, nor too humid, stored or grouped with other books they like. You do not want to start a squabble or worse, a book war. Oh yes, it happens quite often, especially when interns are involved. Last one occurred 2 months ago. someone made the horrendous mistake to place a biography of Winston Churchill next to Charles de Gaulle. The two respected each other, but I believe sitting so close on a shelf wasn't the best choice. And so they started arguing about the past, bringing other books into the mix. That was quite something. What did they argue about? You know, the French and the English will always find reasons to argue with one another, right? We're pretty much like siblings. We quarrel a lot, but deep down, I'm sure we do enjoy each other's company. Sometimes. You still to show me what a good Englishman you are, Professor. But I am confident that things will go smoothly between you and I. Just follow my rules and we'll be friends. All this to say that books are fragile and delicate. They need to rest a lot, which is what they usually do while sitting on their shelves, especially in this part of the library. So we need to be quiet so as not to disturb their slumber. Right, let's see. You are awaited in study room number 57, which means... Oh, interesting. Follow me, Professor, and remember, always stay close. I wouldn't want to lose you in here. Oh yes, the library is very well organized, but only those, like myself, who work and or live here know how to navigate this place. Do you think it's simple? Really? Let's see if I can change your mind, Professor. Let's turn here. You see, Professor, this place is not a common library. I'm pretty sure you felt it as soon as you set foot here. There is something about the air, a tingle, a scent that's quite unusual. The atmosphere is different. Sometimes you can feel like someone is watching you, whispering close to you. From the corner of your eye, you perceive movement, yet nothing is changing. When you look one way, the other transforms, and you find yourself in a completely different section. What I'm trying to tell you is that the library is alive, and only those who know her well can find their way here. So, if you lose me, you are screwed. Here we are, the romance section. Now, Professor, this place is filled with love, lust, pain, and happiness. And a few centuries ago, a succubus made it its place of residence. How come? I believe she loves, above all else, people of knowledge. And what better place but a library to find this kind of people? But have you ever encountered a succubus before? Oh, you're in for a treat then. Now, new rules are to be applied. While we are going through this section, you will need to hold my hand at all times and never, ever let go. Understood? Also, always look at the floor or your feet, never at the books or the people we might come across. Why? Because they'll do anything in their power to seduce you and make you stay here for the succubus to then devour your mind. And we do not want that, do we, Professor? You might think these are easy rules to follow, but you will see soon enough that you'll be more than tempted to look up, to let go of my hand. Never do that, ever. Especially now that we are approaching Valentine's Day. She's even more hungry than usual. Why? I guess that with so much love in the air, it tickles her appetite. Are you ready, Professor? Take my hand. Is something wrong? My skin? Oh, yes, it's cold. But do not worry, I'm fine. Let's not waste time, Professor. I'm not sure a former king of France is used to waiting. One last time. Never look up. Welcome to my lair, Professor. Don't be shy. Look up. Don't try to run away, Professor. Just look at me. Stay with me. Just look up. Open your eyes, Professor. His heart beat faster and faster as Daisy's white face came up to his own. He knew that when he kissed this girl and forever wed his unenterable visions to her perishable breath, his mind would never romp again like the mind of God. So he waited, listening for a moment longer to the tuning fork that had been struck upon a star. Then he kissed her. He kissed her. At his lips' touch, she blossomed like a flower. He kissed her, and the incarnation was complete. He kissed her. I can listen no longer in silence. I must speak to you by such means as are within my reach. You pierce my soul. I am half agony, half hope. Tell me not that I am too late, that such precious feelings are gone forever. I offer myself to you, again, with a heart even more your own than when you almost broke it 8 years and a half ago. Do not say that man forgets sooner than a woman, that his love has an earlier death. I have loved none but you. He kissed her. I was drawn in by it. I didn't understand what was happening to me. And it was only when I began to feel actual physical pain every time you left the room that it finally dawned on me. I was in love for the first time in my life. I knew it was hopeless, but that didn't matter to me. And it's not that I want to have you. All I want is to deserve you. Tell me what to do. Show me how to behave. I'll do anything you say. He kissed her. Professor, please, look at me. Professor, don't go. Don't leave me alone. Professor, I'll do anything. Show me what love is really like. Professor, Professor, you can look up now and open your eyes. It's me, Emma. Welcome back. You made it. Bravo. Well, I think she really liked you. Never saw her put so much effort into trying to seduce and stop a visitor. Some books join in too. The Great Gatsby, Les Liaisons Dangereuses, Dangerous Liaisons, and Persuasion, if I'm not mistaken. You should feel honored. Because that means that your mind must be exquisite. Are you alright? Would you like to rest? See, this is why you should always stay close to me. You never know who you might encounter, and this was only the romance section. Imagine what it could have been if we went through, I don't know, the Dark Ages, Napoleonic Wars, or the Crusades. This is a supernatural library, Professor. Always keep that in mind. It can be a place of knowledge, marvel, and wonder, but also, and I am afraid in most cases, it is a very dangerous place. Frightening, dreadful, and bloody. How so? Well, books are only the reflections of humans, are they not? And so they can reflect what's so good about them. Their brilliant minds, their hopes for a better, brighter future, their love, their empathy, compassion. But also all the darkness that lurks in their hearts and brains. And as you know, Professor, probably better than me, their history is filled with it. But let's not dwell on gloomy topics. We still have an entire section to cross. You haven't noticed where we are. A garden? Almost. It's an aviary. This is where all books on any type or species of birds are gathered. And so it created this heavenly place. Well, at nighttime it might become spooky, but right now it's a very pleasant place to be in. And we can speak normally here, which is very convenient. Just try not to shout. Oh, you should see the botany section. A true marvel. Maybe for your next visit? A lot of people fall in love with this place, no matter the experience they lived here, good or bad. The library becomes a second home for a lot of visitors. Something draws them back here, almost like an addiction. I'm not sure why. Maybe the impression of being inside a living organism, something that is rarely experienced outside of this place. But let's move forward, and you can let go of my hand if you want. There are no terrifying creatures here, unless you're afraid of birds, that is. Very well. I don't mind. Your hand is warm. It's a nice change from books. Hmm? You have a question for me? Please ask away. I'm here to help you in any way I can. What am I? What do you mean, Professor? Have you already forgotten my name? I am Emma, and I am your guide for the duration of your stay in the library. Did the succubus get to you after all? Does your head hurt? Do you feel dizzy or... Oh, I see. The way I've spoken about humans. Huh. What about it, Professor? Like I do not belong to them. Well, Oh, goodness. I'm sorry, Professor. I'll answer your question. But it seems like we have an emergency on our hands. Over there. A lost and lonely author. I need to tend to him. You can come if you'd like. It won't take long. No, writers can stay alone in the library, but some, like this particular one, do better with company around them. If you excuse me. I just need you to let go of my hand for a few seconds. Thank you. Лев Николаевич, вы что ли опять потерялись? И вы решили грустить один в вольере? Ну что ж вы, Лев Николаевич, вам нельзя оставаться без компании. Ну, птички с вами разговаривать толком не могут, Лев Николаевич. Ой, если не ошибаюсь, в этот раз с вами появился Антон Павлович. И где он сейчас находится? О, он должен вас здесь встретить. Понятно. Ну, тогда хорошо. Только, пожалуйста, не грустите, Лев Николаевич. Я скоро вернусь. Хорошо? Oh, good. Let's go. Oh, yes. That was Leo Tolstoy. Always so sad and deep in thought. Like he holds the weight of humanity on his shoulders. But he's not supposed to stay alone like that. Why? Because when he's all alone, he starts to think too much about humankind, religion, society, everything he wrote about, really. How is that bad? Well, authors are pretty much the rulers of libraries. Without them, there won't be books, and without books, no libraries. And so the mood of an author influences places like these a lot. If dear Tolstoy over there becomes too depressed, then it will impact the aviary. Birds will get sick, trees will die, the whole place will wither. none of the books here will want to stay, and there are hundreds, if not thousands of them here. Imagine a whole flock of books moving at the same time. It would be utter chaos. A library is an ecosystem in itself. One thing changes, one thing goes wrong or disturbs one single book, there's going to be a chain reaction that will impact the whole place. Books that are not supposed to be together will meet. Shelves will start to move, places will transform, ending in chaos. Oh yes, I've spoken Russian with him, of course. I know all the languages represented in the library. It is more convenient that way to discuss with authors that stay here. Now, we should hurry or we'll be late for your appointment. Oh, right. About me. Oh, I don't mind you asking at all. It's just... will I meet your expectations? Well, you are thinking I'm not human, which seemed to cause some distress. No, that's too strong of a word. Concern, maybe? I wouldn't want to disappoint you. And I am curious, why do you want to know in the first place? Oh, I see. You need a guide in Paris for the duration of your stay. That is really unfortunate indeed, Professor. I would have loved to meet you outside for a drink or a cafe, visit a museum or two, go to the movies, or just watch trains go by at a station. But I cannot leave the library. You look surprised, but it all makes sense. You figured it out correctly. I am not human. What am I then? Hard to explain. I guess the short answer would be that I am the library, or a personification of it. One of them. There's a few of us here. And my role is to guide whoever enters this place. A visitor like you, or it could be a book, a character, an author. How come authors appear here? Interesting question. And no one really knows. That's how magic works, I guess. Only dead authors whose books are stored here or in another supernatural library can manifest in this place. They are not the real them, if that makes sense. They are an amalgamation of their writings, biographies, and research papers written on them. That's why, for example, Edgar Allan Poe always has a raven on his shoulder, or Lovecraft sometimes has tentacles coming from his back. They are not the real people they once were, just what we know of them or believe they must have been. This place is truly magical indeed. Why can't I leave? It's not a question of why, but rather it is impossible for me to leave. Physically impossible. I can open the main door, but not go through it. Why? Because I am the library, silly professor. Can your brain come out of you and just wander off somewhere? Or your heart, or your lungs, or your spleen? Well, I'm just like that, an organ of the library. Now, Professor, here we are, study room number 57. You are about to meet the former King and Queen of France, the last true ones. Be nice to them, polite, no need to bow or anything. They've been through the revolution. They know the people won, so... And there's no need to worry. I'm sure everything will be just fine. And I'll meet you here when your appointment is over, to bring you back to the entrance. All right? Good. Enjoy. Oh, and try not to be too distracted by the room. I'm sure they recreated Versailles in there. Just focus on your interview. And if any one of them starts losing their head, literally like their head falling from the shoulders, don't worry. They're just putting on a show.